Holiday from Glitter Gadgets in Grade School, and this is my classroom tour 2014. This is my first year in a second grade classroom. I spent the last 6 years in a fourth grade classroom and a few years before that teaching primary science as a special at the Milton Hershey School. That being said, I really wanted, since I have no reputation as a second grade teacher in my school yet, I really wanted the students to be excited about being in my classroom kind of upon arrival, like the moment they walk in the door. And so that's where my first part of the tour comes from, these amazing awnings that I got the idea from Pinterest, and I definitely had some amazing helpers along the way because I'm not super crafty. But the original idea was to build an awning like this over a bulletin board, and I kind of took it a step further and built it across my entryway windows and the entryway itself. I'm playing up the cafe reading strategy as my theme this year, so that's kind of where the whole Parisian cafe theme comes from. So welcome to my room. Like I said, it's my first year in second, so I'm sure that I will be changing things up as we go. I have this glitter chevron clip chart, which I found on Teachers Pay Teachers. I'll also attach the link here. Some really inspirational posters I found, mostly on Amazon and Education Station. Of course, my teacher coffee station, because that is a must-have. I'm bringing with me from fourth grade the ticket out the door. In second grade, we switch math classes, so I'll have students that are not my homeroom students for math, and I feel like that's going to be a really good way for me to gauge how they did in math class that day. Our school is embracing the agile minds and ideals of grit and teaching that to our students this year, so I came up with this agile minds mantra, basically with lots of synonyms for grit. I'm going to have my students work with me to recite each day. We also have our vocab word wall started. It is not alphabetized. That is done on purpose so that we have something to do with some of our downtime in the first days of school. I'm not crafty at all, but I saw this great idea on Pinterest as well about taking the unpainted or unfinished frames and kind of making them your own. So I did that from Michael's, and I framed our 5 class rules. I'll link below again for that. These are our book boxes. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to use them exactly how I have in the past, but it's kind of another separate place to keep things that we utilize regularly, often in our guided reading time. I have another area set up in the back for a small group. This is also where I'm planning to gather students for brainstorming and working on anchor charts together, and then kind of disseminate from there to different stations throughout the classroom. I'm starting with an E formation for my students, hoping that we can swiftly get classroom management under control and move to groups. I have a magnetic whiteboard that slides. It's kind of the hub of my schedule and all of that. I keep all the things I'm going to need for it in these containers right off to the side. Always have magnet tape because then things can be magnetized at a moment's notice. The frame I painted there with glitter paint, I'm super excited to be using on the first day of school for a second grade photo booth, which I will definitely blog about soon. My chandelier kind of makes my library awesome, so that was my first second grade purchase. I found it on Amazon.com. The couch I reupholstered from a really hideous couch that was left behind. Grateful for the sofa, and even more grateful for Fabric.com for allowing me to find some amazing, very French fabric to make it look amazing in my library. I'm lucky to have 6 Apple computers. Oh no, you can see me there. And a really amazing view of our playground, which is kind of fabulous as well. The artwork is just framed scrapbook pages I found at Michael's that I thought would go with my theme, because who has money for art these days? Bienvenue is our French greeting, kind of embracing the French thing this year to go along with my French cafe. I've got my office space here. It's probably the neatest it will ever be, so take note. I doubt it will ever look this fabulous again. I always like to keep some pretty journals around for jotting thoughts and ideas that pop in my brain. Although honestly, I usually use Google Docs, but the journals are just so darn pretty. I have my drawers here that I'm gonna label with all the different areas I'm gonna need in 2nd grade. I wasn't really sure. In 4th, I always had one for things to copy, things to laminate, things that need to go to the office, things you cannot lose. I have my Common Core wall set up here, what we can do. So they're all our can do statements for 2nd grade Common Core for math and language arts. I'm really intentional about the placement of these in my classroom and how we're going to use them sort of as a checklist of things that we can do, and they'll be very visual for the students throughout the year. I'll definitely blog more about that as we go. I found some amazing paper lanterns at a store in downtown Lancaster called Mamalicious that I'm sort of obsessed with, and I was really excited to be able to incorporate them into my classroom. I have my file system for my Rocket Math and fluency work for my 2nd graders, and this is kind of what I got. My second favorite feature of my new classroom, ambiance-wise, is the ability to turn the lights low and have the chandelier and the overhead string lights and my cool little chevron lamp kind of add some mood to the room and give us some space for some good thinking, get rid of the neon lights, and make some magic in the classroom, which I kind of love. So I'm really excited to see how it's going to evolve and change as I get to know 2nd grade better. If you have suggestions for me or thoughts about my room setup, I'm happy to hear them. I know I'm a sort of like a veteran teacher in that I've been doing this for about 10 years, but I feel a little bit like a newbie with my grade change. So I'm expecting things to be really different and exciting where I am now. And thanks for being along for the ride.